Welcome to Revenue's presentation on the Form 11. In this video, we explain certain parts of the form which are specific to farmers. We will show you how agri-payments will be pre-filled into the 2018 Form 11. We will also show you how specific questions that relate only to farmers are in a separate sub-panel within the Self-Employed Income panel. There is a separate video for help in completing the Self-Employed Income panel. If you are in receipt of agri-payments from the Department of Agriculture, Food and the Marine, the payments you received in 2018 may be pre-filled on an introductory page, which will appear when you navigate to the Self-Employed Income section. The details of payments here do not form part of your return. The payments information must be input in the relevant field in the Self-Employed Income section, and I will explain this later in this video. You should read the notes on this screen before you click on the Proceed to Trade 1 button. Note that it has not been possible to pre-populate agri-payments for all customers. If you are in receipt of these payments but they are not shown in the Form 11, you must still return this income in your form. Agri-payments fall into three categories: payments that are treated as income, payments that are capital in nature, and payments that are exempt. I will explain where each should be shown in the Form 11. Payments that are income in nature should be included as trading receipts when preparing annual accounts and are taxable as income. They should be recorded in the Extract from Accounts section of the Form 11 as receipts from government agencies, GMS, etc. Remember that these taxable payments make a part of your income and must still be reflected in the net profit figure in the Form 11. The payments do not need to be entered separately in this field. However, the payments are income and should be calculated as receipts and therefore will add to net profit or reduce a net loss. For help in completing this section of the Form 11, please see the separate video on completing the Self-Employed Income section. Where a payment has been made specifically to compensate a farmer for identifiable capital expenditure, such payment will not be treated as part of the farming income, but will fall to be deducted in arriving at qualifying expenditure for capital allowances purposes. Such capital payments should always be recorded as cash or capital introduced in the Extract from Accounts section of the Form 11. Payments received from the department that are specifically exempt from income tax, for example the Afforestation Grant and Premium Scheme, should be recorded as other income including tax-exempt income in the Extract from Accounts section of the Form 11. Further information on the taxation of agri-payments can be found on the Revenue website. If you search for Taxation of Farm Payments, you will be directed to notes on the basic payment scheme as shown. Questions that are specific to farmers have been moved from the Self-Employed Income panel to a separate sub-panel. This can be accessed by clicking on the Add Details button as shown. When you click on the Add Details button, this Farmers sub-panel will open. This section is where you enter details of stock relief claimed, income averaging, and claiming the Succession Farm Partnership Credit. You can find more information on how to complete this section by clicking on the Help section icon on the top of the screen. When you have completed this section, you click on Continue and you will be brought back to the Self-Employed Trade panel. If you have availed of income averaging, you should tick the appropriate box in the Farmers subpanel. When you return to the Self-Employed Income panel, the actual profits for the year are entered where indicated by the red arrow. The average profit figure is entered where indicated by the blue arrow. This is what your liability will be based on. If you are making an election to temporarily opt out of averaging for this year, you make this in the Farmers subpanel. You make the election by ticking the appropriate box and enter the amount of your profits had averaging not applied, as highlighted on screen. If you are claiming the Succession Farm Partnership Credit, you must be a partner in a registered farm partnership. If you have not indicated that you are in such a partnership, you will receive an error message as shown. If you are in a registered farm partnership, you should tick the appropriate box in this subpanel as shown. Where you are claiming the Succession Farm Partnership credit, you enter the number of the partnership and complete all the questions highlighted on the screen. All of these questions are mandatory. If you do not complete these questions, you will receive an error message as shown. Note, however, when completing this section, that you cannot be both a farmer and a successor. Farmer here means a person who has been engaged in the trade of farming on land owned or leased by that person. When you have answered all questions in this section, hit the Calculate button. This will calculate the amount of credit due to you. You return to the Self-Employed Income panel by clicking on the Continue button. When you return to the Self-Employed Income panel, your share of the succession tax credit amount will be pre-filled into the appropriate box in the Self-Employed Income panel.